Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over a loot cave farm that is incredibly good for max level gear farming, gold farming, and weapon experience in New World. And this farm is technically gonna be a glitch, but it's one most people will have probably seen by now because this happens all over New World. And essentially how these type of spawners work is it'll be a part in a quest where it has you go somewhere and either loot an item or interact with a tablet or something like that, and then enemies will spawn around you and it will either have you kill like this specific enemy or a few waves of enemies or this group of enemies, and then that's the quest being done. But what ends up happening with these quests is you can interact with that object as many times as you want and it will keep spawning these enemies, essentially just duplicating those spawns on top of each other every time you interact with this thing. And this is how this farm is working as well. And this spot is going to be located at the bottom right side of Reekwater. I'm not going to try to pronounce this point of interest, but you'll see it in the video to know exactly where to go. This is going to be a farm where you're killing elite enemies and a named mini boss, so you're going to need a group of 5, and I'd fully recommend a tank healer and 3 DPS for this. Now, one person in your group is going to have to have done a couple quests that are also located in Reekwater. So first off, you're going to go to the settlement in Reekwater and talk to Louis Valvuis, and the first quest you're going to pick up from this NPC is called Secrets of the Swamp. You're going to do that quest, turn it in, then you're going to start the Seek and Hide quest. Now the Seek and Hide quest is going to take you to this point of interest where you're going to be doing the farm, and it'll take you to a different NPC called Roland Abingdon. Now once you turn in that quest to Roland, he's going to have another quest that you can pick up from him called Secrets Best Left Unshared, and this is the quest you're going to want to stay on, not turn in, and this is how you're going to do the farm. And at this point of interest, you're going to follow where the quest takes you, which is going to take you down a few flights of stairs into this long hallway, and in this long hallway there's going to be a little console that you pretty much interact with the artifact on this little table, and once you interact with this artifact, it's going to spawn essentially a gauntlet of enemies in this hallway. It's going to spawn 2 elites on one side, you kill those, then it'll spawn 2 elites on the other side, you kill those, then 2 elites on the first side, you kill those, and then I think it'll spawn 1 normal enemy and then the mini boss on separate sides of the room. And once you're done killing all of those enemies, the gauntlet is essentially over. But what you can do is every, I think it's 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you can re-interact with this artifact and respawn this gauntlet. Something else you can also do is if you have a really strong group, you can actually not go kill the enemies in the gauntlet right when they spawn because it only spawns a 2 on the one side. You can have your group wait on one side and then you can press the artifact every 2 minutes as many times as you want, and it will stack up the enemies all throughout the gauntlet. So if you say go press it 3 times, the first 2 enemies you kill are all going to be spawned 3 times stacked on top of each other. Then the next set of enemies that spawn are also all going to be spawned 3 times. Now, most of this gauntlet is pretty easy and you can stack up the enemies a lot and not have an issue killing them. But once it gets to the mini boss, that's when there can be an issue because this mini boss does a lot of damage and does this big AoE around themselves that roots everybody that's close to them and does a big chunk of damage. You might need to test this out with your group, but be careful of interacting with this artifact too many times before clearing out the gauntlet, because if you get too many of these mini bosses at the same time, it could potentially just end up wiping out your group. But if you have a lot of CC, a lot of damage, good tank and healer, you shouldn't have too much of an issue doing around 3 interactions with the artifact before clearing the enemies. So just to simplify that a little bit, you interact with this artifact, it spawns a little gauntlet of enemies, and you can interact with the artifact every 2 minutes, and if you don't clear out the gauntlet after pressing the artifact effect once. Every time you press it after that, it will stack up those enemies. And like I said, all of these enemies are elites. They're high level enemies, and the mini boss, which is called Light Crafter of Old, is a level 62 elite mini boss that, like I said, is really strong and also drops 2 unique items. And these 2 unique items are Fuel to the Fire, which is a fire staff, and then a Prophecy Fulfillment Charm, which is up to a legendary jewelry piece that is pretty good for healers. Now also a few more things to note. This is going to be really good for farming up gear to increase your gear score watermark because these are level 60 elite enemies. And since you are killing this named mini boss so much, besides the fact that it drops unique items that are both pretty decent, named enemies that are higher level than 60 actually have an even higher chance to give you a watermark increasing item. So a higher gear score item than you've looted before. And that's pretty much the entirety of this farm. Once you get your group of 5 together and you have somebody on the correct point in that quest line, you just go down here and farm up these enemies. Now, if you have a group that's not as geared or not as strong or not as set up for this farm, you can just press the artifact once and then clear out this gauntlet, then press it again when the time's up and do it like that, and it's still going to be a really good farm like that. But if you have a much stronger group, what's good about this farm is that you can pretty much AFK here for 3 or 4 presses of the button, have everybody just watching videos and AFKing. The one person with the quest presses the button every 2 minutes, and then every 6 to 10 minutes you guys clear out the gauntlet, then AFK again. So it's a pretty nice farm if you have a set up group or a group of your friends that can set this up so you guys can all AFK, do whatever, and then that every like 6 to 10 minutes you guys go clear out the gauntlet and get a bunch of loot. But that is pretty much the entirety of this loot cave farm. So subscribe if you want to see more New World or other MMO videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this loot cave farm, and thanks for watching.